And we already have a lot of questions. Some I think Shubhangana has already answered. So thanks, Shubhangana. But I'll start. So I will still request till I'm taking the questions from the Q&A box. If people have more questions, keep typing them in. We still have close to about 20-25 minutes. So we will try to answer most of your questions. So Manisha Pandey asks, what is the difference between certificate 1 and certificate 2? So, anybody, Shri Gauri, Rahul, Mohit, or Shrishti, anybody?
Can I just
Yes, 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 yes.
yeah, so the certificate one is primarily foundational in nature, and it is kept open so that people are able to judge where they more gravitate towards. So you are given a little bit of genomics, a little bit of orientation to the computational aspect, and not little, but the courses are in depth, but the aspect is all foundational. It also will allow people to appreciate what is omics and appreciate to know that there is more to it, and if they want to develop further into an application specialist or want to get into computational genomics or want to get into more experimental, how the samples are prepared, etc. So the second one is more on hands on. So you do mini project, you do immersion, and you do whatever you learned in the foundational. Plus you are exposed to huge number of experts also who are doing lots of genomics. You get an exposure to interact with them, all those things. But I think the people, Mohit and all, can add further. I just wanted to give the broad philosophy on the basis of which we develop this two
Got
certificate. It's so and there's also a break, so you can come back next year
it.
to do the certificate, but you at least go with an IIT, meaning a certificate. But then you have a IIT alumni. When if you do a diploma, then you become an IIT Jodhpur alumni, both the certificates together. So it's a stackable program.
Mm. Thank you, Dr. Medali. Anybody would like to add on to this, or should we go to the next? Mohit, do you want to add on?
Yeah, I mean, actually, ma'am described all of this, but just to say that certificate one is a foundational course and covers all the basics, and we have had 90% of the students opting for certificate two after certificate one. So I think that is how it is well connected and gives a holistic understanding of and from skills to application. I think it covers all of those things. So it is a great opportunity.
Okay. Another question from Manisha is, how tough is the course for someone from non-coding or non-mathematical background? I think she means that if somebody does not have a computational biology background or coding, how tough is it?
Okay, if I can, ma'am,
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
want to
sure.
go?
Or anybody.
Mohit, you go, then I can just add my bit to it.
Sure. So actually, we started off with this. The platform we started was for biologists and clinicians because we saw the gap that we discussed today, which is what they've been like because they are the people who are doing the experiments and they did not come from a from a coding background. So we developed this entire courses and training for to help them. So we cover all of that in a very basic manner where we are learning about from installation to practicing codes, and there is a mentor to guide you all the time. That is a great help. So I think it is we have a lot of students, as you could see. Most of them are from non-coding and non-mathematical background, but we're able to do it after the certification.
So I would like to add that genomics today's day, you can complete all your experiments in 5 days time. Once you have the reagents, once you have the sample, you put it in a machine, it gives you, and you take a year to analyze it because half of us in the country do not have a foundational knowledge to even open the files. So so we have actually an introduction to R, introduction to packages, and these packages have well formed modules. So if you want to do some analysis and if you practice, you learn the packages, then you will be able to pretty much do basic analysis, and that's what the first certificate allows you to do. So if there is a paper you're reading in genomics, you can take the supplementary and you will be able to do a similar kind of an analysis using these packages. There's a fear how to do it, and this is what we want you to get out of. That's the skill part. And the next one is more of, if you were to tomorrow want to do your own experiment, want to contribute to an R&D lab, want to do anything which requires a little bit of thinking, then you get into application of all those learnings into projects and immersion programs. So I am not a computational biologist, but I have done 20 years of genomics. So you realize it, but my half of my students are computational biologists, and they know what to do with the data, and they really have the skills. So it's not very difficult. Most of them come from biology background.
Yeah.
I also want to add that I have also done my PhD with no computational background. So yes, you can do it. It's not very difficult.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's just basically you get time to get comfortable. Once you come,
yeah,
and that's what we have observed in education all the time, that as ma'am said, like many people are not just ready to open it and see it, but once you get comfortable, everyone is like capable of learning this.
yeah. So there's another question from an attendee who has asked, if we have to opt for diploma, do we have to pay for previous both certifications? Can it be done completely on online basis? I think there are multiple questions. Maybe we take one by one. So
Mohit, you answer these.
Yes, so certificate one is 1.2 lakhs, and then if you want to go to certificate two after certificate one, it is 1.5 lakhs. But if you go for diploma, it's one time 2.5 lakhs. So either you're going for certificate one or you're going for the full program. So you can choose for the full program, so you make some savings out of it, and also get an opportunity to completely plan your studies accordingly. And there are exams in between, but it's built for professionals. So the classes will be over the weekend, so that you all have the time to, dedicate some hours for this course.
And loan possibilities are also there.
okay,
Yes.
that is nice. Um, any placements will be provided by the organization.
So we have developed a system about it. We are connecting the students with the right kind of opportunity, which is again personalized, because everyone has different skill sets that they come up with, which are their basic skill sets, and then they learn different types of skill sets and application. And then there are different types of choices, like the area where I want to do a job, also the specific field that I want to get into. So we have a small module about it, which helps students to customize that first, and then we help them connect with the right kind of opportunities when there. That is how we are helping
And
students
just
with
yeah, just
opportunity.
to add to what Dr. Mohit has said, so we are also trying internships. So
Mm.
we are discussing with different companies how the students can get internships, paid internships. In addition to that, we are also helping them to get recommendations for PhDs. So how they can apply. So we are helping them how they can they prepare the cover letters, the CVs. So it's all personalized. So in this way also we are helping the candidates.
Praveen, you can
So,
also tell them
yeah.
about the opportunity space.
Yes, yes. I was about to come to that. Thank you, Dr. Tari. So, the omics space has a huge potential right now. I'll just give you a small, figure right now. So, right now, currently, it's estimated that globally there are about 30,000, say, NGS machines installed of different companies and makes and types, which are there right now. With all the pundits, all the business pundits, basically are saying that in next 5 years' time, it will be at least 100,000 instruments, if not more. Now look at, if it increases from 30,000 to 100,000 installs globally, that means there's 70,000 new boxes coming up. On an average, for each box, you require about 5 or 6 manpower. So you can do the math. Approximately 4.5 lakh new jobs will be created in this space. That's one global data. Now let's come back to India. From a scope perspective, what's happening right now is there's a massive uptake of these tools right now, omics tool in the research area, but there's a even faster uptake of omics tools right now in the clinical area. So today we were doing an estimate right now. So approximately in India, there are about 1.5 lakh pathology labs which are operating in different cities. I mean, every tier city, we have a pathology lab. Currently, only maybe about 150 of them, in fact, and I mean, if I give you a more accurate figure, before COVID, the labs doing molecular diagnostic were not even, I mean, whether any kind of molecular diagnostic, whether it's Sanger, whether it's PCR, whether it's qPCR, it was hardly about 150, 200 labs in the country doing some kind of molecular diagnostics. And about 50 labs were doing sequencing. In last 4 5 years alone, now from those 50, now there are about 200 labs doing sequencing in the clinical space. And imagine, still we have 150,000 labs in this country. So as these technologies are becoming simpler, the cost is coming down, the data output is increasing, and the availability of manpower, skilled manpower, is coming in the market. The adoption rate of these technologies in path labs, hospitals, pharma companies, food testing companies is just spiraling. So we are very interesting. We can give you specific examples of how interesting job opportunities are coming up in this sector. And to me, I think it's a very exciting phase for anybody in the omics area. Provided you are skilled well, you understand the complexity pretty well, and you can actually analyze the data.
Yeah. Thank you, Praveen, Mitani,
And I just would like to mention that no master's programs are available which caters to training in this area. So
yeah.
this is like a really an upskilling if you want to increase your job opportunities after masters. This diploma, if you consider the number of hours which we spend on real teaching, because this teaching, the course is very rigorous. It has gone through multiple iterations of the Senate before it, because it was being offered by IIT. So it's very rigorous, and it's internationally, it can, all of you, if you go through this course well, then you would be able to compete in equivalent space even internationally. So that's the thing I'm confident about. So
Yeah, I'm sure about that. So there are few more questions by the same attendee. That person asks, if a person can opt for online session, then will they be available in the recorded version as well? I think probably if they miss a class or something.
yeah, we give all the recordings. So these classes are typically held in Google Classroom.
Okay.
It's an environment which IIT, so you become a student with an IIT email, and all the low notes, all the recordings, they are all provided in the Google Classroom. But we encourage people to attend, and we made it such that all the people can attend on the weekends the classes. And but all the recordings and the all the teachers who are teaching, they are from company or IIT faculties, and even faculties from outside Ashoka and all. So we have a very interesting group of people who have had experience in genomics teaching, and they give personal time also sometimes.
So, some of you have already mentioned that the classes will be over weekends. So, some people have also asked what are the timings of these sessions, and will there be any exams that will be held during the course?
So there's continuous evaluation, and it runs from the timetable, because you can understand the number of hours you have to cover in in 6 months, right? So it is, weekends are pretty much tied up. Mohit, will you be able to add?
Yes,
Rahul?
actually, yes, we have theoretical sessions and then hands-on sessions equally divided. So it is always interesting and you're learning from
So I will just answer that. So weekends are packed. So it starts from morning 8:30, and then we have the sessions, each session by instructors. And then, like ma'am has said, there are also recorded sessions, but we encourage you to join online so that you can get feedbacks, you can ask questions, so we can solve that immediately. Yeah, but it starts from morning 8:30. There will be some break time, and it will go until evening. Yeah.
Okay. There are certain questions related to omics, like what are some of the current wet lab challenges for omics out of genomics, epigenomics, proteomics, metabolomics, which is the most industrially relevant omics?
All are relevant depending on which industry you're going to and which question you're posing. So that's what this program actually tells you. Unfortunately, what happens is most of the people start with exome sequencing. That's the
Mm.
easiest thing to do, right? And you think that that is the universal answer for everything. That's only 1% of the genome. There is so many things. If you want to, there are many stakeholders in omics. If you, I will just show you one slide. Maybe I just had it. Can I show
Yeah, yeah, sure.
different stakeholder? Yeah, let me show you one slide. Mm. It's a mind map actually, which I also teach during
I
the
have
course.
uh, I have seen this map in my course.
Okay, so you see, there are multi-omic technologies. You need to know the technology around each of them, and then you have the understand them in the context of a problem space. Integrate them: systems biology, ecosystem, exposure and omics, multi-omics and digital. So omics gets added to the next level: radiology, to ecology, to exposure, to multiomics. So all of them, and then there's a component of AI in there. So predictive models, all those I think are there, and then it leads to different kinds of research questions, maybe functional omics, precision medicine. Nowadays, there's a very important area of landscape genomics where you want to do biodiversity conservation. Then One Health, you want to look at everything in a holistic perspective. From So you need to sequence maybe all the organisms or some readouts. Drug target discovery, synthetic biology, agriculture, sociogenomics, how much is the society and genes interact. And then there are translational areas where algorithms and platform needs to be developed, and other drug discovery, digital health, sustainable health, biodiversity. So these are the places where one are going into entrepreneurship, and they need it. So there are different kinds of stakeholders in this. Um, just 1 minute. So these stakeholders will be in the disease health and wellness group. These will be in public health, strategic sector, pharma, nutrition and sports is kind of taking up a whole lot of things in omics. And then more importantly, in the industry, omics service providers, typically if they do service for huge number of hospitals and all, they need people. Field application specialists like Praveen's huge base of sequencers all across the country, forensic labs, R&D labs, then precision agriculture, this is very important. Then ecology, or the people who are into landscape, biodiversity conservation, surveillance. And then the biomanufacturing, this is again another new upcoming area which is coming up in the country, where you need synthetic biology, lots of genomics is needed. So this is what I just wanted to show, that once you start from here, you can go into any area, because the DNA is universal, so it feeds onto all the areas. So that's where I wanted to show this mind map, just to say what are the opportunity spaces. So it could be research, industry, and translation.
Can I just add on something, ma'am? On this very very interesting mind map, you covered practically all the applications. Let me just give you a couple of examples, very interesting examples which have come to us in recent times, where people have basically bought our NGS machines for very interesting application. One, a food testing company, a very I'll blind the name, a very very large, very very popular company. They make a lot of supplements, health supplements. So they're using NGS machines to basically find out that when they're selecting the constituents, suppose they're selecting a certain herbal constituent, they would like to use the genomics approach to find out whether there's a contamination, because they're buying it from certain sources. So they would like to use genomic stratification or genomic genotyping per se, in this case using NGS, to find out whether they're using pure material or not. That's a very interesting application. Recently, about 6 months back, a lab in, I mean, we never knew about this lab, a lab in Bangalore bought our mid throughput system, and we were very intrigued because we had never heard of this lab and we wanted to understand more. And when we actually went there, we understood. Now, this is a clinical service lab which is only catering to the cosmetic industry, mainly in France. So what they're doing is, in the French cosmetic industry right now, whenever any cosmetic major player, all your Chanel's and everybody, when they make any cosmetic right now and it's to be applied on the skin, they have to do studies like before and after, what's the changes in microbiome. So this particular service provider is basically catering to the cosmetic industry just to study the changes in microbiome, in terms of, so like this, there are very, I mean, I'll give you a very common example. I think most of will understand. Beer industry, it's a very large industry. All the European beer manufacturers today, because they use yeast as a fermenting agent. Now, if tomorrow there's a mutation in the yeast stock, then it basically changes the taste of the beer. So they use NGS or genomics or omics technologies to sequence before inoculation into every large batch. So like this, I can go on and on. There are so many applications coming up, very interesting applications coming up of omics per se. So it's a great field, and one needs this expertise to be available for this workforce.
Very, very interesting applications. I also didn't know about a few. So, yeah, so there are a few more questions. I think Kanakana, I think your question is very specific. I would request you to please send an email to one of the panelists. Some people have asked what roles did the previous batch students go into. I think we've covered that, but they also want to specifically know what were their CTCs. So I'm not sure if you're okay, but any range that you would like to specify from anybody from the panelists or speakers.
So the first batch was very diverse. Some of them already are in jobs. Somebody wants to pursue for PhD. So many are up because this was the first time they had no idea what they were into. So they were teacher in college from pharma background. So this allowed them to understand how they can use omics in their space. There was a person who was in education, then company, then I think he's gone into education. One is working in a company. So many of them are employed already and they would be looking for more options, and many are wanting to pursue higher studies abroad, so they thought that they will get skilled over here. So it was a small batch because we just started it, and anything new in the country you introduce, everybody waits to see what happens to them, right? And I think one or two are approaching Rahul companies, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
that's also happening. So
Okay.
this was just the first batch, and so
Okay.
we had few students. We are hoping that through this, because now we are more confident about our classes, our delivery, and we've been able to successfully do our immersion. So we have done one round, and the first round is the toughest round. But I think next round people will also, the ones who are going to be the job providers, will also be looking forward to the kind of trainings that are being proposed. So
Yeah. Another question is, I think we don't have a lot of time left, so we'll probably take one or two questions. If somebody's question is not answered, I will please request them to, email the OmicsLogic or Famous Life Sciences, and somebody will reply back to your email. But let me take a few more questions. What kind of computer requirements does this course have? Or I think the attendee means what kind of computer requirements does he or she need to have before the course? Anybody
Yeah,
that
I think
wants,
any
yeah.
modern computer and laptop would work because what we are trying to do is to utilize a lot of cloud resources and servers which are there to reduce the computational time or to the need of having in-house computational infrastructure, which is not possible. So learning about other options is also there. We're teaching that how to use cloud resources for such analysis when they're doing it independently. But yeah, throughout the course, any normal computer which are like post, I think 2016, would work fine, and also like other computers would work fine as well.
Okay. Okay. So I think it's 4:15 and we would like to stop on time. So thank you so much, Prima Life Sciences, Shrishti, Rahul, and OmicsLogic, Mohit, Subhangana, Praveen, Mitali, Srigori, everybody, and Team India Bioscience. We've had a lot of questions and we still have a few more. I think you will be spammed with emails now. And the last date to apply for this course is July 25th. So hoping that you'll also receive a lot of applications soon. So thank you so much
Yes, we
and
look forward to it.
Thank you, India Bioscience.
Thank you very much.
Thank
have a
you. Thank you
great
so
day
much.
ahead. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much.